Je to do vysílání.
Yeah.
Welcome to Prague, the capital city of the Czech Republic. This is Glenn Latimer, joined by Jim Mobley, and we'll be bringing you the English coverage of the very famous 20th edition of the Sportisimo half marathon here in Prague. Top class elite field, and you're going to see it's be like a tourist brochure for this wonderful photogenic city today. You can see the cathedral and the castle up on the hill there in this one shot. Here are some of the past winners already on the field, and the famous Moldau or Vltava river right here in front. And shortly, in the race starts in 5 minutes, you will hear the famous tune that was written by Bohemian composer Bedřich Smetana, and very popular here. It's about my homeland, my vlast, and tribute to the famous river. It's very emotional and significant tune for the Czech people, and when they play that at the start, it's quite a moving moment. Here we see the couple that are going to go off and get married today during the race. Doesn't happen every time. Sonia Kochulkova and Mikhail Hrabek are going to get married and then run the race together as man and wife. Quite unusual. Jim, some of the 11,500 participants there, the race is capped at that, and under the spires of wonderful churches here we can see the start area.
The Jan Palach Square. Jan Palach Square is the start area for the half marathon. Beautiful area, beautiful day, and there's the course. They will cross the Vltava some 6 times over 5 different bridges, so they will be running along the river practically the whole way, because there are hills on both sides leading away from the river. So the course is pretty flat, and if you look at the race records, very fast.
Well, the record for the men is 58:47 from 2012 by Atsedu Segei from Ethiopia, And the women's record was set last year, which was then a world record, Jocelyn Jepkoskai, 104.52. So they do get very fast times on this course, and I'm sure when the race starts in 3 minutes we will also see some very good times. The weather is pretty damn good for running, Jim.
It's almost perfect.
Yeah.
It,
8 to 10 degrees at the start, going up to 16 degrees by the time the masses finish, with very slight winds, 7 miles an hour winds coming from the east-northeast. And when we've tried to calculate what that means is they'll have a bit of a headwind as they go out towards the east-northeast, between 11 and 16 kilometers. They'll face a bit of a wind, but nothing too strong. And then when they return down to the finish, from 16k down to 21k, it'll be a bit of a tailwind. So about as good as a wind design as you could get for a day like today.
and it's not a strong wind, so I don't think we're faced with a particular problem.
No.
As long as it holds like this, it couldn't be much better. Some of the top Czech women.
There's separate prize money for the Czech athletes to encourage development in that area, but we do have a very strong international field, lots of different countries represented. Just 2 minutes now to the start. See some of our leading contenders. On the women's side, probably the key favorite is Carolyn Curie, who we will see shortly. She's already run 105.07 this year. There's Eva Repkova, the top Czech runner, made the Olympics last time.
She finished 7th in New York just back in November, which was a very good performance. Jirka Homolach, the top
Looking very
Czech
serious. He's been training in Kenya, so hopefully that helps him. Some of the other top women runners we're going to see is Joanne Melly, Wognesh Degfair, and Antonina Kwambai, Rispa Chibet. So probably 5 or 6 key women, but the one that we think is the favorite, and we might see her going away with the pacemakers, Carolyn Curie. There's going to be pacemakers for the women, pacemakers for the men. Here we are right by the side of the Moldau.
It's the Mazavas, please.
Yeah, well, we're going to be bilingual today, Jim.
Beautiful day, nice helicopter shots, aerial shots of the course and of the city.
You can hear the heartbeat music as it beats down now, getting ready for the start. We're just final moments, and here we go.
Dr. Jan Pirik with the gun raised. He's quite a runner himself. Famous heart surgeon here in the Czech Republic.
And to the Bohemian composer Bedřich Smetana's famous song from Ma Vlast, meaning my homeland, written between 1874 and 1879, 6 different pieces, but this one is the stirring one about the Vltava, the Moldau River, and this is the music that means a lot to the Czech people. Over the mats at the start, 11,500 people. What amazes me, Jim, and maybe you live in Prague so you understand this, but they get these amazing times here on these whole series of races that they have, 7 gold label, IAAF gold label races, but they do it on streets that are cobblestones and with tram tracks in the middle and everything, so it amazes me. It's not the smooth surface we see in some races.
Middle Eastern races tend to have these broad avenues with beautifully paved, and people come here to Prague and we still run faster or just as fast. It's amazing.
I guess if you only weigh 110 pounds or something, then you fly over the cobblestones fairly easily. It might be harder for some of us.
Well, I've often said that, you know, in the thin racing flats, you do feel every little stone and every little cobble in the street, but they managed to cope with it. And there's a lot less cobblestones than people think on these courses. They're designed by Czech to be as cobble-free as possible.
Well, the course, obviously, if you live in a city with hills either side of the river, you're going to try and run alongside the river, which is what we're doing today. And the course literally hugs both sides of the river and crosses the bridge, as Jim said, 5 different times, or 6 times, but across 5 bridges. And we'll show you some of the key views. The views today of the city and of the runners enjoying this city will be spectacular, because there is a wonderful soft morning light here in Prague. Bright sunshine today. It will be a showcase for this city. Here we are on some cobbles and tracks, but doesn't seem to bother them. Pacers are going to take them out quick. The goal will be something around 59 minutes they'll be happy with. If they could get close to the course record, 58:47, they would like that very much. There's even a nice bonus of 5,000 euros if somebody can if the winner can break the course record.
Well, today's the day for it.
We'll let the race settle down a little bit and see how fast they go in. Probably the first significant point we'll see will be at 5 kilometers, and we'll start doing some serious projections based on that as to what people might run. But it's a bit difficult to tell early on. People get excited. We've got a group, probably 3 or 4 pacers there already, and maybe 12, 15 other runners who've separated themselves quite seriously already from the others. Little guy about 6 back, got Abel on his name, is a young runner, Abel Kipchumba. He won the Napoli City Half Marathon earlier this year and looked spectacularly good running away on his own. Ran about 1 hour and 16 seconds, but he was on his own on a more difficult course than this. So I think I said back then that this is a guy who'll run well under an hour. So he's young, nobody knows about him yet, but they might do after today.
Today's the day to do it. They're passing Dancing House, a Fred Curie landmark here in town, one of his earlier architectural gems.
The guy with
Frank Curie, sorry.
The guy with Justice on his front is Justice Kangogo. He's got a 59:31 PB. So several very. Jim knows the elite athlete coordinator here quite well, seeing he's married to her, Jana Mobley, and she has put together a pretty awesome field yet again, with a lot of guys who've run under an hour. Used to be that if you ran 63, 64 minutes, that was good. Now you have to run under an hour to be considered good. Amazing how there's even talk of running a sub 2-hour marathon at one point in the future. We'll see. There's the wonderful view of the river with all these bridges that cross it. It's I wonder how many millions and billions of photographs have been taken of this city. Just a picture postcard all the time.
Poor Kodak, which used to supply the film for all these cameras, has gone belly up, I guess, because of it. Digital, but smartphones.
I guess you think you've got a business that'll go on for forever, and then you get a shock, huh? Luckily, you and I are still very young, Jim, so that won't be a problem for us. Race has quickly separated itself into the front group. Here's the lead women. little one on the right in the orange is Carolyn. Carolyn Curie and Joan Melly with her. And we got 2 men pacers with them, and these guys look like they're flying to me. This looks very fast, so we'll give you some splits and some projections very shortly, but
they both have expressed a desire to go 105 or better. So, you know, we're talking really world-class, super world-class times, just passing one of the other runners.
Well, the one they're passing is Ihor Oliferenko from the Ukraine, who was like a 2:08 marathoner, so 2:12 marathoner, sorry. So, and his best at the half marathon is 63:35. So he's probably just got a shock of his life as 2 women just came zooming by him.
Well, you know, last year, I don't like to dwell on the past too much, but Joycelyn and Viola Chepchumba did pretty much the same thing. They win out hard, you know. They don't pay attention to anyone. They just go and run. It's not a mental game. It's not chess.
Well, Carolyn Curie, who's got Carolyn on the shirt when they show the women again, I used her as one of the pacers we had at London Marathon last year for Mary Catani when she set the women's only world record of 2:17:01. And Carolyn had never run even a half marathon before, and she was just hammering away at the front. So she is by nature aggressive when she runs, and you can see there the lead group, all in mainly some beautiful blue and orange shirts from the main sponsor Adidas, and you can see how fast this is because people are starting to drop off the back of that group. It's just like always a sport of attrition. It used to be that you could come from behind and win races. I don't see that very often these days. It's you're in the front group and they attack and they keep going and keep going. And
well, last year there was a group like this, and then at about 10K, Tamarat Tola from Ethiopia decided that it wasn't fast enough. He wanted to go under 1 hour, and he took off. And I chided these guys this year that, you know, don't let somebody go on you, go with them. So I hope they will do that.
Helicopter views are just wonderful of the old town there, and see the Charles Bridge in the distance, the famous Charles Bridge.
700-year-old bridge, stone bridge. The second oldest bridge in the Czech Republic.
So these races here, very, very well produced by the RunCzech team. Very experienced. Everybody knows what they're doing, is very calm about it, gets on with the job and produces high quality, exciting races with good performances at the front end, world-class, world record performances often. And then for the citizen runners, there's something for everybody. So everybody enjoys in the cities that they tour around and get to see in the Czech Republic.
Drink some good Czech beer, have a little goulash, or...
I'll try the beer. I'm vegetarian otherwise, but the beer sounds good.
I can't believe you haven't already tried it.
This looks quick to me. Just, you know, we're only 10 minutes in, so early doors, as they say, but these guys are moving well, and you can tell more by the guy at the back of each of the pack as they start to drop off, when they start to suffer and they realize this is too quick for me. It's the same thing you see in cycling. It's just the attrition by these guys that you'd expect. If they're going to run under an hour, I would expect them to be under about 14:13 5 kilometers, which will be shortly, and that'll give us some projection. So if they're running under an hour pace, is our elite athlete coordinator Jana on the back of that motorbike, so she can get a close-up view of what's happening.
Abel is right there.
Nobody seemed to know about him, and he came into Napoli, and I was very impressed with him. He probably needs a pair of scissors to trim up that vest a little bit. It's a bit long, but you don't realize how tiny these guys are until you stand next to them. And
looks like Caroline's put about a meter or so on Joan.
Well, there's some good athletes there. There's Stefano Larosa from Italy. There's Javier Guerra, who's run 2:8 already this year, and Alexander, one of the Ukrainians there. There's some good high caliber guys there.
And Homolach, the top Czech, is also in that group.
They are 103, 104 half marathon guys, and the top women are right with them. So usually at that level you think you don't have any competition from women, and now suddenly you're finding that you are under pressure from the women. Bernhard Camelli over on the far left.
I would be afraid that the women were going too quickly. I'm a nervous Nelly, I guess, but I hope that's not the case. But obviously, they're not dawdling.
I guess with conditions like this, so you can see here, this group is a good group of top men with Homolach and Larosa, Stefano Larosa, Javier Guerra. And just sitting in the back of them.
These are guys who could win a lot of half marathons around the world, you know, if they weren't top races.
And the two women just sitting on the back of what is, in essence, the second group of men. I think we're going to get a bit of a surprise here in a minute when we get the splits of 4.4K, which doesn't mean a lot to me, but we'll wait for 5K, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't pass math. Need my son here for that.
There's 3 and 4 in the women's race.
That's
but that's
De Geffa, who's a 106.14 PR from Prague, so she's no slouch.
And our little tiny young Antonina Kwambai.
She's a 108, but she's in better shape than that. Yeah. I think she's probably 106, 107 caliber today.
But that looked like a lot of real estate between 3rd and 4th in the women's race, and the front two, Joan and Carolyn, or just is Ava, top Czech runner.
I'm not sure if she's ready, but her goal would be one.
Should be seeing some splits here for the men. Is another additional event. Families and babies in strollers getting out, and
Homolach.
It's great that RunCzech includes everybody in their events, and this is a special group enjoying their moment in the sunshine.
So that group of men that we were looking at leading the two top women is running at a 102, about a 102.20 pace.
And the women were right with them.
Yes.
We'll try and get you some splits here for the lead men and lead women. There's somebody pulling up, suffering from the pace. Unless it's one of our pacemakers, I can't tell.
I didn't recognize that person. The lead group is still together.
Okay, here we go at 5K, 14:07 for the men. .14:07 puts them comfortably under an hour.
About 59:35 or so. Checking their watches, especially the pacemakers. Their livelihood depends on them doing a good job. You see Caroline
past 6K there. 17:04, they're right on an hour at that pace.
Caroline and Joan are under 103 right now. That seems a bit ambitious to me. I'm worried about that. There's the women, 14:51.
14:51 for the women, which is moving right along, as they say. That's in the 103 range, I would think.
Yes, it is. It's not even on the chart for the women's.
So maybe the women, Jim might be right that they've gone out way too quick, but we'll see. But that is...
that's sub 103.
Yeah. So we may be seeing some history here, or we may be seeing...
we saw it last year. We were so surprised last year. You know, it was hard to really figure out those splits because we were wondering, are the times wrong? Is she something amiss with the timing? Because Joycelyn was setting world records at 10, 15, 20, and the half marathon.
I'm sure Jocelyn Jepkowski will be back for some of the other races later in the year here
yes, she will.
Czech Republic and the RunCzech series. She just ran very well in the World Half Marathon Championships.
She had malaria earlier this year, and so she was not fully, she didn't feel like she was fully recovered. Yeah. But she's such an upbeat person that, you know, she's smiling and happy with the results. Yeah.
Well, this is good that the athletes who understand their responsibility to the sport and promoting it and being personable and working with the press, working with the sponsors. Not all the athletes fully understand their responsibilities there. Got to be a shock when you're going the other way and you see how fast these guys are going. 12 people in that lead group.
I think all the major players are there. Obviously, if they're not, they're gone. They're history.
I'm interested now to see what has happened what will happen between 5K and 10K, and then we'll see if they're running even pace and they're still together. Then that's a sign. They're projected at 59:20 at the moment as a finishing time, but we'll see whether they picked it up, slowed down a little bit. Boy, did these guys make this look easy. Again, beautiful aerial views of different parts of the city. Cameraman's dream today. It's not that warm. It's probably between 10 and 12 degrees right now that the race has got going, 20 minutes into the race. But people are making sure they hydrate properly and enjoying their fluids.
It's important. It's very important. Not so much in a half marathon, certainly for a full.
Now, we did go over that stretch of cobbles earlier, but like you say, these roads are beautiful. They're smooth and along the side of the river.
It's obvious when you look at the times that the cobbles don't play that important a part in the race. The runners who complain about them are usually guys who have a bad day.
I think that's David Nielsen from Sweden who was with the lead women there,
Yes,
trying to
yes,
hang on.
it is.
And he's a 29:01 10K runner, a 1:03:34 half marathon runner, and he's working hard to stay with these two. We might be seeing some history here. That split of not on the charts under 1:03.
Well, I think they may have dialed it back just a touch because they've lost that pack of men, or maybe the men picked it up. Looks to me like Joan is really zoned in, if you will. She's just, Caroline looks to be backing off a little bit.
I don't know if she went to try and get a drink at the side of the
Maybe.
road there. That could have been what happened. The angle changed now, so we can't see them again. But when I was on the plane yesterday flying here, there were some Americans on the plane coming for their dream trip to go to Prague, and they were just so excited that finally one on their bucket list was going to get ticked off.
Were they going to run today?
No, they didn't even know that they'll have a job getting around the city today.
Well, it is a tourist city, as you well know. And you can see why on a day like today.
Oh, it's magnificent today. I think we just got to the point where the race will definitely be won by a Kenyan in the men's race, because the only Ethiopian was with them. I think the current course record holder, Atsedu Sege, just dropped off that group, and we're down to 11 now.
Well, it could be on the women's side as well, but Worknesh de Geffa is no slouch, and she could very definitely.
Can you imagine you're running 106, 105, and you get beaten by a couple of minutes?
No. I can't even imagine running 106. So.
Now through one of the tunnels, I think we're going to go.
A little drink, pour it over the head.
It's quite an art to be able to take your fluids at this speed.
Absolutely.
When you're running 2 minutes and 51 seconds per kilometer or faster, it's quite an art to grab. And there's Eva Vrabkova
with
on the back
entourage.
of that.
Would you explain the difference to me? Now, you've talked about in the past, you've been involved with a world record in Chicago. You called the males escorts rather than pacers, and would you kind of explain why you did that?
We used some escorts, as I termed it then, back in the early 2000s when Paula Ratcliffe set a world record in Chicago. And that was because once the TV cameras are there with the lead woman, the men sort of gather around them, and they either block the view for the TV cameras, or they get in the way of the lead woman because they're so busy trying to be on TV and wave to mom, even though they're decent athletes themselves. So we coined the phrase escorts so that they could talk to the people quietly and just say, lead woman coming through, and just to move aside a little bit. They're not there as armed bodyguards or anything in the term of escorts, but they were there to give the lead woman a clear path and to give the TV a chance to see the lead women. So that's why I coined that phrase then. We are going in London in 2 weeks' time. We're going to have at the London Marathon. We're going to have a mixed race inside the separate elite women's race. It'll be a mixed race because we'll use men pacemakers, just as we did when Paula Ratcliffe ran 2:15.25. We got Mary Katani and Tiranesh Dibaba going after very fast times in the 2:15, 2:18 range. So we'll use men pacemakers for that. And if we get a day like today, it would be wonderful. But English weather tends not to be. Another runner there dropping off the group, so we're down to 10 now. That was Donald Mitai.
There's Abraham and Abel are still there, I believe.
I think we've only got one pacer left there. Whoop.
Somebody stepped in the tram track. Oh,
lost his shoe, back of his. Somebody trod on the back of his shoe, by the looks of it, and that takes some time to get back on it because usually you've tied them on so tight.
And at that speed, you're going to lose a lot of meters.
Yeah. We're looking for the men to go past 10K in about 28:25, 28:26, so they're close there. If they're still on this pace of just under an hour, should see the 10K point any time now. See if the camera will pull away and give us a shot of that. Looking at his watch, so we must be close. There we go. That was it. I think bang on what we said. About 28:20. So still in the 59:30 range is the projection.
Exactly, 59:37 pace. If somebody can kick at the end, they can go a little quicker.
And now we wait on the women, which will get interesting as to what they can do. The pace when they ran the world record, it was 30:48. Remember, 31:04 is 31:04 is the 5-minute pace at 10 kilometers, 5 minutes a mile pace. So running 30:48 is a good time for a 10K race anyway, man or woman. One pacer and 9 guys left. Or 8. One and 8. 8 left in the race with one pacer. Back over another bridge now near the finish. You can see the 21K sign there. They'll look forward to seeing that for the finish in a little bit. In less than 30 minutes of running.
The next time they see this bridge, they will be coming home. Now they're going to make a long stretch up along the river.
This is the point where we think that they're going to run into a bit of a headwind between 11K and 16K, just a slight headwind.
So the 15K split may not be indicative of...
Because they'll come back with a bit of a tailwind, so yeah. If you look at the, it's like a dog bone, or a dog leg, I suppose is a better way to say it, the course design. 8 runners left, and 1 pacer, and all from Kenya. The depth in Kenya running is just unbelievable and astounding. When you see the world lists for half marathon, the last pacer came out there, I think. We're down to 8 serious runners.
And there must not be a lot of wind because they're kind of spread across.
Yeah, that's a good, actually it's a very good observation, Jim. When there is a strong headwind, then they drop into sort of single file and one behind the other to shelter, and these guys are still spread across. So Bernhard Kameli and Abel Curie seem to be the main aggressors there. And here comes
Abraham.
Joan Melly.
Yep.
I haven't seen a split for the women yet, which I'm hoping they'll post shortly.
Just check.
There's Javier Guerra, Stefano Larosa, Yuri Homalach. Sitkovsky from the Ukraine, so not very far ahead of our lead woman, Joan Melly, who is seems to be leading couple. We haven't seen Carolyn Curie for a while, so I don't know what's happened there. Ish is our leader, Joan Melly. .30.14, which is, and she's it's a pretty amazing time. It's way under world record pace.
She's still running under 104.
Yeah. So we might be seeing history and might be seeing the first 103 for women, which would be amazing.
Hopefully we won't be seeing a giant explosion as she comes apart.
There is a quite an incentive for a world record, 60,000 euros. That'll help ease the pain a little bit. Guys running the side of the tram tracks now.
Still the 8 men there.
Yep.
Abraham Kiputic, who is a member of RunCzech Racing, is still with that group. This RunCzech Racing group is interesting because it is a chance for these guys to get jobs in Europe as pacemakers initially, and then they can get into some races. And eventually, when they get a contract with a sponsor, of course, they have to step out of RunCzech Racing. They're alumnus of RunCzech Racing, but it's an opportunity for some talented young Kenyans usually.
Now the founder of the whole RunCzech group is going to use a couple of the races this year within the 7 gold label races that RunCzech has, and he's going to use a couple of them for European development to encourage Czech runners and other European runners, not just sort of an African dominated race. So I think Karlovy and Český Budějovice are going to be European races.
Exactly.
Is Joan Melly. She doesn't look quite as good as she did earlier, but you can see why when she's running 63.47 as a projection.
Any woman running a 30-minute 10K is at some sort of limits.
Well, 30.14 through 10K is amazing in itself, and this is a little bit of a climb there coming up. That's probably why she looked a bit tired, but
got her Escort.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice to see a world record. Is Eva Vrabkova.
It would be deja vu to see a world record again, but the possibility exists at this point.
Back to the glorious scenic views here.
Eva's shooting for 1:13.02, which is a Czech record for women. I'm not sure that she's fully recovered from Valencia. She was not happy with her time there.
That's
13 kilometers.
Abel Kipchumba there with his chest pushed out in the front in the blue.
Another RunCzech racing.
Yeah.
This probably has a good day today. He's going to be signing a contract with somebody, I'm sure.
It's a bit like the American farm team system. Seems to work quite well. Give these guys a chance and let them step up. And that's what a lot of these races, like this Sportisimo half marathon here in Prague, they're stepping stones for these guys to come and run in Europe and to run in the big time, in the big atmosphere, and then later to go on to some of the big city marathons and some bigger paydays.
But they also come back here to race, especially in the half marathons. We have 5 half marathons.
There's Carolyn Curie in second place with her individual pacer.
I hope she's recovered from whatever was the problem there.
Yeah, you spotted that she suddenly moved off to the right. We don't know exactly what happened there, but she did sort of drop off a bit. Shadrach Qibla just came forward there.
Such a beautiful day out there. It almost makes me wish I were running myself.
Well,
or makes me wish I could run, let's put it that way.
You've got a good memory to go back that far. She's run 2 big half marathons already this year, it's she runs 1:05.07 in Rack Half Marathon and 1:06.48 in Houston back in January. So these are high-level performances. The third one now in inside 3 months in timeline. Still these 8.
That's a very good sign because there's a certain energy that's gained from the group.
Yeah. Must be a twist and a turn here because the ones who were paying attention, Justice there was paying attention and he came right over to the left-hand side of the road. Saw the turn ahead in anticipation. Justice can go.
Following the motorbike with the green vest. TV truck next to them.
So our next key point for the men, if they're running still at the same pace, will be about 42:35 or something like that, as they, if they're still going to be running under an hour. So in the next just over 2 minutes, we'll see if they're still on the same pace to go under an hour.
They are at 14K, still under 1 hour, 59:37, 59:36, thereabouts.
$15K is after they will do a big swing to the left here before the furthest bridge.
The city turns out pretty well for this race.
It's good. It's 11,500. I'm sure everybody will be very proudly wearing their race T-shirts afterwards and their medals.
Well, the problem is you can't have a big city type of event here. You know, the roads and the limits of the old town just don't permit that. They're just too narrow. You can't put 30,000 people or 40,000 people on the road.
The guy who looks great here is Shadrach Qibla
I
with the
was just
RunCzech
thinking
team.
that, yeah.
And he was in Napoli also and finished second earlier in the year, along with the guy right behind him, Abel Kipchumba. But at some point here shortly, the aggressors start stepping forward to the front, and when they come back along the river on the south side of the river, that's when we'll start seeing who is ready for the final push from probably 16k to the finish. Whoa. At that speed, we were just talking about that, how difficult it is to grab a drink, grab a sponge. It's just good enough.
Well, for a half marathon, I have been told, and I'm not a doctor certainly, but I've been told that a half marathon, they can pretty much get by without refreshing themselves. It might help, but
sometimes just the sponges to squeeze the water on your head just has a sort of wake you up feeling, just shocks the body a little bit, just a bit of cold water.
there's Pepe, the driver. Desana on the back, trying to direct.
Still going just under 104 is the projection in the women's race. But that gives a little bit of padding for the world record, which is
104.51 now,
yeah,
from Valencia.
Yeah.
1 second faster than the course record here.
Now we're getting some shake-up in the men's. Suddenly there's 5 and 3 guys are struggling to stay there.
It's the
42.32 at 15k, which is still just under an hour as a projection. Still about 59.30 is what we're looking for them to do.
Yes.
Be about 59.32 or something like that as a projection. If my math is correct. But people starting to suffer now and drop off the back. Now it'll become an attrition race as they cross the river the last time and head back.
Still 7 people in that group.
There's
Somebody caught back up.
I think the guys who were struggling was Shadrach. He was one of them who was struggling, and he got back in, and Abel Curie both got tough, and they just lost one. Maybe we saw them just, the camera returned to them maybe just after an aid station, and that was the shake-up. But
they look so good. It's just
the guy that we said looked good 5 minutes ago,
it's
Shadrach Qibla, he's hanging on the back of this group now, and he doesn't look quite as good. But Abel Curie looks stiff and his neck stiff and everything, and yet he's still there. 16k.
Was that the way his form is? Is that the way he was in Napoli?
Yeah, he looks like that. But they're just over an hour at the moment running, so they did slow a little bit there. We'll see. There's still lots of racing to go in past 16k, and fractionally over 1 hour is the projection.
Joan Melly is racing against Joan Melly right now. No one's ever been in this.
No. Well, she's a minute under the world record at the moment, so she's got a couple of records that might entice her. If she can break the 105.52 from last year by Jocelyn Jepkoske, that's worth 5,000 euros, and a world record is worth 60,000 euros.
So 2 seconds is pretty significant payday.
I think hope Carla's got the money in the bank to pay this one. It's she's still working hard. The pacer looks wonderful, but of course he would do. He's a man running at 64 pace. 8 degrees at the moment, 47% humidity. I think it might be a little bit warmer than that out on the course. Now they're estimating her at 104.33, so she's going to have to really work hard at the end. Maybe she's going to pay. You said that in the first 5K, Jim, that you thought it was a bit hard and a bit fast, so maybe she's going to pay for that in the closing stages. We'll see.
Well, I think she is already. Yeah. Obviously, she's slowed in the last 5Ks to a point where, unless she can recover and put on another bit of a spurt, another nice shot of the city.
I haven't seen what Joan Melly's 15K was yet, have you? Waiting for that to come up on the screen. Projecting the men at just under an hour.
17 kilometers approximately.
Seven guys still there.
And they're still running under 1 hour pace.
It'll be a good race when it gets serious.
I think they think they're serious right now. There we have the masses crossing the bridge.
So just about 10 minutes of running left, and still 7 guys all looking good. Pick a winner. I think it'll be a guy in either an orange or a blue vest who'll win this race.
Looks like Adidas gear is doing all right today.
It's natural that Adidas, being one of the sponsors here, does put their athletes into these events.
Well, it's part of their contractual obligations, but also I think they have some bonuses tied to their contract if they run in a race that's sponsored by Adidas. Isn't that correct?
Yeah,
you
I think
would
that's
know
right.
better than I would.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And at different levels, races tend to be tiered into different categories, and I'm sure that's the case. Different people are taking it in turns to be the aggressor. Still way under the the current women's world record. the 15k split we've got for Joan Melly was 45.54, which is 17 seconds under the pace of the old world record with 6k to go. So she's still 20-30 seconds under the world record. She was a minute, so maybe she's still suffering. We don't know yet. We'll
she
see
has
what
slowed.
Yeah.
She has slowed. There's no question about it.
The men are down to about 8 minutes of running left.
They're in the tunnel near our. Nope, they're not yet. Almost. Her legs look good.
Yeah. Well, you talk about how smooth athletes are and leg turnover and so on. I mean, her arms are a bit tight, but she was like that at the beginning. I think that's just her style.
That does seem, if you watch the Ethiopians or even Mary Katani now, they have this high, very high arm swing, which seems unnatural to me, but it works for them. Definitely works for them.
When we were young, we used to get taught by our coaches to reach your arms lower and just pinch your thumbs onto your index fingers just to relax your arms. But these guys are they're getting the rhythm and away they go. Of course, they don't weigh much.
But that definitely is a trend amongst the women, that high arm swing.
Yeah. I think it definitely helps having this personal pacer escort, because, you know, when your mind says, I want to slow down, you've got somebody turning around saying, come on, come on. So,
yeah, he's talking to her.
Yeah. So she has about a 32-second lead at the moment over Carolyn Curie, who is still running a great time, but so you could be seeing somebody run in second place in 105 something, which at the depth today is going to be very good. Vognish Degafar is back 2 minutes back on that, so then it falls away to 107, 108. It's funny when you can say that they're going slowly in third and fourth place at 108.
The women's racing in the last 14 months, since RAC last year, Perez Chepchir set a world record. Jocelyn came back in April here in Prague and broke that. Then Mary set a women's only world record in London for the full marathon. Then Jocelyn went to Valencia in November and set another world record for the half. And it's been like that for the last women's. All of a sudden, the women's running has gone.
Oh, it's incredibly
off
fast.
The charts, off the charts.
So now the race is starting to explode a little bit. In the side, we got less than 5 minutes of running left, and people are being thrown off the back. We're down to four and a bit here. Two guys trying to hang on. Shadrach and Abel are trying to hang on, but there's four have gone away. It's at that 5 to 10 meters that people have on you just looks like an ocean. And again, try picking a winner out of this.
Bernhard ran 27:10 and won the Burrell Prague Grand Prix last September. But this is new territory for him in the half marathon. He's only run one half, and that was as a pacemaker.
Yeah.
Peter Curie looks super.
So down to the last 4 minutes, I think. Would be nice to have a winner under an hour.
Fighting for the podium now.
Funny how that race in the last 2 kilometers of the race just sort of imploded. people dropping off the back just can't hang on the injection of pace. Here they go, 3 of them.
Back across the river.
Yep.
The next time they cross the river, they'll be coming to the finish.
This is Camelli now, who's making the big effort to get away.
Bernhard was, as I said, a bit of an unknown quantity, but certainly he is talented.
He certainly improved his cadence there. He's picked things up, and that accounts for that 30-meter gap that he's got on the others. But he's resisted the temptation to look behind. He's just looking forward. Nothing encourages the guys behind than the guy ahead looking backwards.
He's on the bridge. He's on the bridge, heading for home.
Peter Cuomo and Jeffery Yegon are the second and third, the podium guys. 20K 56.46 with a 2-second lead. It's under an hour as a finishing time, but not by a lot. Maybe 59.45, something like that. But quality performance.
Well, with that 27.10, we know he's got good speed.
He can smell the finish line now. He's got probably 90 seconds of running left. Jeffery has gone into second, but that doesn't seem to be over yet. Those two are fighting hard for second and third. Abel Curie, I thought he would break an hour today, and I don't think he's going to. But
it was a day to do it.
Yeah.
It really was.
Good weather. Okay, inside the last minute of running now.
The final bridge. Well, it'd be a nice bonus for him, I think, if he can break that 1 hour mark, which he should.
Here he is down to the finish.
Turn the corner, step on the blue carpet, and finish it out. Red carpet. Sorry.
Change the color on you.
He's got it.
Well, I apologize, Jim. I said 59.45 and it was 47.
You blew it as usual.
Jeffery makes second place. Jeffery Yegon.
And Peter, they're both
Peter
under
Cuomo.
1 hour. Here comes Abel, 104 maybe.
Yeah, just fractionally over.
Shadrach.
7 guys under 1 hour and 10 seconds. Very impressive. Davor Savija celebrating there with his athlete.
Manager for Bernhard. Number 8, under 1 hour and 30.
So for excellent depth. So now the interesting thing is, what will we get from John Melly? probably 3 minutes away from our first woman.
We hope.
Nish, Stefano Larosa and Javier Guerra. And the former course record holder there, still current course record holder, was just in the back of that picture at Sedut-Sege, trying to make a comeback, but he's a long way off his best form.
Yeah, he had run 1 hour and 28 seconds earlier this year in RAC, and I thought maybe he was coming back, but not yet.
Not quite back yet.
Larosa looks pretty good there.
Yeah. He's a carabinieri in the Italian police. Yes.
That must be what the patch on his singlet is.
So, just to set the scene, the course record for women 104.52, the world record for women 104.51. So, about 2 minutes of running is Yuri Hamelak, top Czech runner, finishing. There's Joan Melly now,
She looks better now, yeah. I think.
3 minute gap. She looks good now.
Yeah.
So,
but she's still got
to go over the bridge and back.
Minute and a half or so of.
I don't think she's going to get this record. I think she's paying for that early fast 14:51 and 30:14 at.
A bit too ambitious, yeah. I'm afraid. I'm not sure whether they're looking at splits or if they're just running the way they feel. It's hard to tell, but they were going so hard.
Well, I think you called it correctly early on, Jim, when you said that was too fast early on. 14:51, then she ran a 15:23 for the second 5K, then a 15:40 for the third 5K, and that's when you pay for it. You can just see that slow down 20-30 seconds per 5K, and
it's all uphill from there. Jurka didn't get what he wanted today. He's going to be around 104.30-ish.
Here's Joan Melly. She's going to be outside, just outside that, outside 105. She's
105 and
change.
Small change.
5:03 or something.
Still
like
an
that.
excellent performance, but she needs to work on the pacing.
Yeah.
A big PR.
A big personal best, yeah. Here's Carolyn.
Caroline's on the bridge, I believe. She may have clawed back a little bit of that.
Funny how long the last kilometer can feel when you went out too hard and you're suffering from pushing too much. She's going to be in the low 106s.
106 low, yes.
She won't be delighted. She's over a minute back on Joan Melly, so Not quite what she was expecting, I wouldn't think, but still super performances. 105.03, 106.07 as a rough guide.
Maybe their pacemakers bore some responsibility
His
for that.
third place.
Also. Here's work Nish. She ran much more evenly paced, evidently.
Joseph Orban from Slovakia running with her. He's a 107.13 guy. Just outside his best timer, probably.
He may be close to a PR.
Yeah. Now he's just going to miss his personal best. So Voknesh is going to make up the podium, but she'll be probably 3 minutes plus behind the leader.
So Joan Melly became the third fastest woman in history now, behind Jocelyn Chepkoskai and Fancy Kimachai by 2 seconds. .108.10 approximately, or 108 low for.
So the story of the race is all in those 5Ks. So just looking at the 5Ks, 14:51, 15:23, 15:40, 15:50, and it's just that gradual slowing from, and you pay for uneven pacing. So feeling good early on, and you pay for it at the end.
40 seconds from 5K to 10K lost.
And if you look at it in terms of 10K, not that I'm a brilliant mathematician, but 30:14 for the first 10K, 31:30 for the second 10K, there's the story of the race in numbers. So here are our results. Take you through. Bernhard was our winner in 59.47. Second, Jeffery Yegon, 59.56. Third, Peter Cuomo, 59.58. 3 guys under an hour. Abel Kipchumba just outside in 1 hour and 5 seconds. Shadrach Qibla in 5th. And on down,
Stefano Rosa, Larosa under 103, 102.57. First European.
and right at his personal best. Is Eva Vrabkova coming up to the finish? You said she was trying for 113 something?
113.02 is the Czech
Okay.
record. Her personal best is 113.06.
Okay.
And
She's right on there. Really close.
she's working. You can see that. You know her story. She's an Olympian, but in cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
So this past Olympics, she finally made it.
So
She ran well in
let's see the
London.
clock now then. Trying for the record. Well, that's a big record.
couple minutes.
Oh, that'll be the big story tomorrow, a record by Eva Vrabkova. So that was probably performance of the day. I bet you the newspapers and the media cover that story.
Certainly the local media. That's definitely a big story. It's very good for her.
I don't know what time they're going to give her at the finish.
It looked like
look right on 1:11 or just over.
Or perhaps just under. I'm not sure. I missed it.
Somebody waiting excitedly for their friend. Meanwhile, out on the course, got a 3-hour time limit, I believe, on the course.
Yes.
So then the city, there's one of the boats, flat over. 5:04 they gave in the end, and 16:09, and 1:06:09, and 68:09 for third.
I'm a little surprised that Worknish didn't get a better time today. She's certainly capable of that. As I said, her personal best is 1:06:14 from this race 2 years ago.
One of the tourist boats there called the Vltava, after the river. It's one of the nice things to do here is go on a boat ride on the Vltava, the Moldau, and enjoy the city. Great views from the go along to the weir and see that and turn the boats. Sometimes they go through the locks on the side and go on a long trip.
So they've given Eva a time of 1:11 flat.
1:11 flat.
So 2 minutes and 2 seconds off of the Czech record.
Great job by her.
Big day for her. I think she probably has some bonus money for a Czech record. Plus bragging rights.
There are 12,000 Czech crowns for the first Czech runner to finish, plus various time bonuses.
Svetlana Kuzlic was right behind her in 1:11:45.
I think that was her first half marathon.
Belarus.
Her manager introduced me to her this morning as we were boarding the bus to the start and said it was her first half marathon. So that's a good start.
A good day. A good day for her.
Well, shortly coming up, Jim, we're going to have the podium, the presentations of our top threes and the top Czech runners, which we'll get to enjoy right in front here of the beautiful building that we're by the side of.
This is the concert hall.
Everywhere in Prague you see this "All runners are beautiful," which is the slogan that RunCzech has adopted, and I think it's a wonderful message, a wonderful marketing tool for the company. You see it everywhere in the hotel, out on the streets, on posters, and it communicates that running is for everybody. It's one of the few sports, I suppose, where you take part in the same event as the superstars, though you go a little bit at different pace. Look at the pace of the people on the right even compared to the people on the left of the picture at the moment.
But you're running the same course, the same day, the same aid stations basically, unless you have your special drinks. And the same rewards unless you finish up in the top 5 or 10. Here we are with the men's.
Okay, the men's podium.
Top men.
I think we'll be playing the Kenyan national anthem a lot today.
Yes.
Third place. It's Peter Cuomo. Second, Jeffery Yegon. And our champion is Bernhard Kimeli. Be interesting to see his passport and see if it's Bernhard or Bernhard. Often the parents just spell the name incorrectly from what they're attending, and that's what you get.
I'm pretty sure it is Bernhard, but we had dinner with him the other night, and he didn't correct us, certainly. But the Kenyans are not likely to.
That must be a hell of a big car, Jim.
It is. It's a huge car.
That Volkswagen key is enormous. So.
I don't think the car arrived. There was some shipping problem. The key arrived, but not the car.
Carlo Cabalbo, the president of RunCzech, presenting the awards, and he's decorated his cheek with a Czech flag.
He gave me a couple of those last night, and I seem to have misplaced them. I don't know.
You'd look good in those. So, Carlo is also the chairman of the IWF Road Running Commission, so he is charged with leading the sport in the right direction. So it's good that he is involved.
It's always a big job to move bureaucracy like that in any direction.
Look at the beautiful crystal that these guys get, and some of the Czech crystal, Bohemian glass.
Bohemian glass, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, try getting on the plane and don't break that. Something to put your M&Ms in, or Smarties if you come from England.
They'll take that back home. The boys will pack it up for them pretty well. And
there they are, the podium men. Bernhard Kimeli won 59.47.
And the Czech national, Kenyan national anthem.
Yeah.
So, but Bernhard is only 22 years old. He's already run and won 2 races in Prague, so he's got a future ahead of him. You're gonna see him in a lot of races around the world.
That Bohemian crystal is so big you can't see the runners anymore. Yeah. Good job, guys, and I think shortly we'll see the lead women.
Yes.
Our top 3 women, which is Joan Melly, Carolyn Curie, and Nish
De Geffer. Kind of the people we expected.
Yeah. Actually, the top 3 seeds in slightly different order.
Well, based on their personal best prior to this race, Caroline might have been the favorite, but there was a lot of talk about Joan before the race.
These people still moving well, getting close to the finish there.
They're about to approach the last bridge. Sounds like a good movie title, The
Yeah.
Last Bridge.
Here we go. That was a long way to step up there for Carolyn.
She was coughing last night a little bit, I noticed.
Maybe she's running sick and she still produces. And our champion today, Joan Melly, just super performance.
She's won a lot of races in the U.S., famous old races like Beta Breakers and Falmouth. She's another good young talent.
She's got a nice smile. And,
Yes.
Lives in E10 and has a daughter, Ariane, who's 3 years old. Carlo Capalvo making the presentations.
Caroline is not looking very happy. Perhaps some problems, but
I hope the ladies get the crystal also.
oh, of course, it's a long time tradition. But to come within a few seconds of the world record, just better pacing was all they needed.
Yeah, she was 13 seconds off in the end, I think, from the world record, but that was, as we said, all told in the 5K and 10K splits. Okay, beautiful Bohemian Crystal, and I'm sure we'll hear familiar tune again, Kenyan national anthem. Quite emotional there, and nice to see Joan Melly enjoying her national anthem and singing along. You watch a football game now or soccer in America and you watch national teams play, and half the people don't even know the words to the national anthem when they play it. I think Carolyn must be a little bit sick. She looks like she's suffering.
She is having
there.
problems, definitely.
Still managing a smile. And I think we'll probably see the top Czech runners come on the podium too.
Yes, that might be a minute. I'm not sure what. But yes, we should see the top 3 Czech men, top 3 Czech women.
Here's a little race recap for you.
All 3 of those men managed to get under 1 hour.
That was that blazing first 5K by the women.
That did them in, and to say she ran 1:05:04 and she was done in by a pace problem is a little difficult to comprehend. But
It was the slip and the guy losing his shoe.
yeah. It's hard to be disappointed when the times were so good.
I think you just appreciate what a great day's racing we saw.
Right.
The depth is terrific in the men's and the women's. In the women's side, you've got 6 people under 110, which is excellent. On the men's side, you've got 3 guys under an hour and 7 guys under 101, under 101.30 actually, under 1 hour and 24. So 60-30, you've got 7 guys and 9 guys in 101 or better. So that's good depth, excellent depth. Wonderful aerial views. Look at the castle there and all the crowds there already.
And a Czech record for Eva Brabkova by 2 minutes and 1 second. So in many ways it was a wonderful day. A record crowd of runners. I believe we will see the award ceremony for the Czech runners now.
I hope so.
Before we sign off.
Be nice to see Eva and celebrate her Czech record.